Imagine waking up and your very first breath is just pure, choking ash. You don't know your name, you don't know your age, you don't know how you got there.
You don't know anything at all.
Exactly, nothing. You open your eyes and you are entirely alone in a pulverized wasteland. The sky is blotted out by thick, suffocating smoke, and the ground beneath you is nothing but shattered brick and twisted metal.
Right.
But the most terrifying part isn't the devastation around you. The most terrifying part is that when you look down at your own hands, they are glowing with a soft, pulsing blue light. And that light is actively stitching your own bleeding wounds back together.
Which is just such an incredibly visceral image to start with.
It really is. Welcome to another deep dive on Off the Record. For those of you joining us tonight, we are embarking on a massive, staggering exploration of Xander Vero's indie fantasy epic, The Last Feruke, Bound by Grief. And let me tell you right now, if you have been searching for a narrative that forces you to confront deep trauma, the erasure of historical truth, and the absolutely brutal, bloody cost of simply surviving in a hostile universe, you have found your next obsession.
Oh, absolutely.
Our mission for you tonight is to meticulously deconstruct this world, to pull back the layers of its incredibly dense lore, and to understand exactly how its magic, its politics, and its heart-shattering tragedy all interlock.
Exactly. And the intricate way those elements interlock is, it's what makes this text such a monumental achievement. But before we dive into the mechanics of the Feruke magic system, or, the socio-political dominance of the Maves, or the brutal history of the Shadow Wars, we have to establish the lens through which you need to view this entire universe.
Right, the framing.
Yeah, the framing of this book is essential. At the very beginning of the text, before the prologue even starts, Vero includes a dedication. He wrote this for his grandfather, who passed away on March 5th, 2024. And the dedication is very specific.
I have it right here, actually.
Oh, perfect, yeah. It explicitly states that his grandfather taught him a core truth, which is, even in ruin, something beautiful can still rise.
It's so good.
By placing that at the threshold of the story, Vero is giving you, the reader, a thematic skeleton key. He is telling you from page 1 that despite the bleak, apocalyptic setting we are about to enter, this is fundamentally an exploration of grief. It is about how grief can shatter and bind us, but ultimately how it can be repurposed into a guiding light.
It sets this profound, lingering melancholy over the entire experience before the plot even takes its first breath. And that melancholy is brilliantly paired with the structural influences he cites at the very end of the book.
Oh, the video game influences, right?
Yeah. Vero specifically names Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, and Mass Effect as his core inspirations, which, for anyone who plays those games, immediately sets off fireworks in your brain regarding what kind of narrative architecture we're dealing with.
It is a crucial piece of context for you to hold on to as we navigate this deep dive tonight. Knowing those specific influences primes you for the structural rhythm of the story. You are stepping into a classic JRPG-style framework. That means you're going to encounter a sprawling, deeply ancient world filled with buried histories. You are going to experience a party-building mechanic where distinct factions, species, and combat classes must slowly coalesce into a cohesive unit.
You got to build the squad.
You have to build the squad. And you are going to face ancient cosmic threats that operate on a scale far beyond human comprehension. It tells you that the story will oscillate between intensely personal character moments and massive world-ending stakes.
Which brings us right back to that opening scene, because it is an absolute masterclass in establishing stakes through visceral, horrifying sensory details. Let's really unpack this.
Let's do it.
We meet our protagonist, a young woman who will eventually be known as Mia, standing at ground zero. She has complete retrograde amnesia, and as she stumbles through this pulverized landscape, Vero doesn't pull any punches.
No, he really doesn't.
He doesn't just describe a ruined city. He describes a graveyard.
Yeah.
She's walking through the rubble, coughing up soot, and she stops because she sees something in the dirt. It's a stuffed animal, a little bunny, but it's charred. It is melted into the soil.
God, that part is so rough.
And right next to it, seared into the earth itself, is the permanent dark outline of a child.
Yeah.
It is a nuclear shadow. It is the exact visual language of Hiroshima or Nagasaki transposed into a fantasy setting.
The psychological weight of that imagery is just staggering. The author is using the physical environment to instantly communicate the scale of the destruction, but also the suddenness of it. A child holding a toy vaporized so instantly that their shadow is permanently etched into the ground.
It's horrifying.
And the tension relies entirely on Mia's lack of context. The amnesia here isn't just a convenient narrative device to slowly drip-feed you the lore, It functions as a literal physiological trauma response. The human brain, when subjected to an event of absolute, unspeakable horror, will sometimes fragment or compartmentalize to protect the host's sanity. Her mind is a blank slate, but the environment around her is painted in the agonizing consequences of whatever cataclysm occurred. She is a walking embodiment of cognitive dissonance.
I love how you frame that. It
Yeah.
is cognitive dissonance made manifest. I mean, think about the mechanics of the superhero genre.
Huh.
Usually, when a character discovers they have powers, like Mia looking at her hands and realizing she is glowing blue and healing her own tissue, it is a triumphant, empowering moment.
Right, the origin story.
Exactly. It's the moment of self-actualization. But Varro subverts that completely. How do you reconcile finding out you possess miraculous magical abilities when you are standing in the middle of a mass grave?
You can.
There is no triumph here. The discovery of her power is immediately laced with a suffocating instinctual guilt. And before she even has a second to process the horror of her situation, the sky goes completely dark.
Yes, the arrival of the wyvern, which actually I think is a perfect moment for us to pour our first drinks of the evening, don't you think?
Oh, way ahead of you. I'm already opening the bottle.
Good, because we have a long journey ahead of us in Talak tonight, and this particular sequence requires a bit of fortitude to unpack.
Absolutely. Pouring mine right now.
Yeah.
There we go. Cheers to you, and cheers to our listeners navigating this ash-covered world with us.
Cheers! Let's get into the mechanics of this encounter, because when the wyvern lands, it isn't graceful.
Not at all.
A massive reptilian shadow blots out the sun, and the beast impacts the ground with a thud so violent it literally rattles the bones in Mia's chest. And Vera does something fascinating here with the transformation sequence.
The biological aspect of it.
Right. In lesser fantasy, a dragon turning into a human is accompanied by a magical puff of sparkling smoke. Here, it is an act of profound biological agony. We get descriptions of wings dissolving, scales melting into skin, skeletal structures cracking and realigning, muscle mass shifting and condensing.
It sounds so painful.
It emphasizes that magic in this universe is not a clean, sanitized force. It is a violent manipulation of physical laws. And from this grotesque, agonizing metamorphosis, a massive man stands up in the rubble and simply yells out, "Anybody here?"
And this right here is where the tonal whiplash hits so hard it almost gives you vertigo.
Oh my God, yes.
Because Mia's internal monologue takes the hardest, most jarring left turn I think I have ever read in a fantasy novel. She is huddled in the wreckage. She is terrified. She legitimately thinks she is about to be consumed by this monster.
Naturally.
And then she peeks out, and she notices that this stranger has, and I quote exactly, hard lines, as if carved from stone, a thick, rugged red beard, and molten gold eyes. She specifically notes his 8-pack abs gleaming through his torn tunic.
It's so funny.
It's such a wild shift. It's like you were playing a survival horror game, tiptoeing past a terrifying beast, and suddenly the genre flips into a steamy romance novel because you realize the monster is incredibly hot.
It is incredibly jarring upon a first read, I'll give you that. But functionally, if you look at the psychology of the scene, it achieves something very specific.
What do you mean?
It completely disarms the paralyzing terror of the moment with a grounded, deeply human, almost absurdly biological reaction. It pulls Mia out of her trauma spiral. She is terrified, yes, but acknowledging his physical attractiveness grounds her in her own body. It reminds her, and you as the reader, that she is vividly alive.
Okay, that's a really good point.
And then we get their first actual interaction. He spots her hiding there, glowing in the dark, and what does he call her? Blue Tang.
The absolute audacity of this man. I mean, you just rearrange your entire skeletal system from a dragon into a very attractive lumberjack. You're standing in a literal mass grave. You find an amnesiac survivor terrified out of her mind, and you hit her with a tropical fish nickname.
It is arrogant, absolutely, but it is also highly calculated. This man is Ultav Greer, and as he scoops her up and they take flight to escape a rapidly approaching horde of yellow-eyed scavengers, he bypasses spoken language entirely and communicates with her telepathically.
Right into her mind.
That is a massive flex of power, but it also establishes an immediate, undeniable intimacy. He forces his voice into her mind to prove to her right out of the gate that he is her only lifeline in a world she does not understand. The nickname, the telepathy, the confident arrogance, it is all designed to force her to rely on him.
Which brings us to their arrival in the Undercity and the first major lore drop of the deep dive. They seek out High Magi Saren, and Saren takes one look at Mia, at her glowing blue aura, and he drops the bomb.
Yeah.
He tells her she isn't human. She's a Feruke. Now, we need to explain to you exactly what that means, because this is the bedrock of the entire magic system in the Last Feruke.
Precisely. A Feruke is not just a magic user. They are an ancient, supposedly extinct race of beings who do not cast spells in the traditional sense. They operate as living conduits for raw planetary energy. While a human mage might pull energy from the environment to create a fireball, a Feruke is the energy. They are batteries of immense, raw cosmic power. They were thought to have been completely eradicated hundreds of years ago during a cataclysmic global conflict known as the Shadow Wars.
The Shadow Wars.
And if you want to understand the historical weight of that, you have to look at the crest of Talak, the symbol of this entire world.
Right. The crest is described in vivid detail early on. It depicts two massive dragons flanking a cloaked, hooded figure who is holding a hammer.
Exactly. The dragons represent the Wyverns, Old Hobbs people. The cloaked figure with the hammer represents the Ferukes, the builders, the wielders of raw energy. The crest implies that Talak was founded on a symbiotic alliance between these two incredibly powerful races.
Yeah.
But now the Ferukes are gone, and the Wyverns are hiding in the shadows. So when Mia steps into this world, she isn't just an amnesiac girl. She is the walking resurrection of a forgotten god. Stepping into Talak is stepping into the literal and metaphorical ruins of a fallen empire.
Ruin really is the defining word here. And to navigate that ruin, we enter the JRPG party assembly phase of the narrative.
Yeah.
I'm actually pouring us another round right now, and I'm making this one a little stronger because the factions we are about to discuss are incredibly complex.
Oh, I will gladly take a stronger pour. Thank you. We definitely needed to discuss the Maves. Because once Oltav realizes who Mia is, he understands that the existential threat to their world has just been reactivated. He knows they cannot survive alone. He has to assemble a specialized vanguard to face the trials ahead.
So let's look at the roster he puts together.
Yeah, let's break them down.
We get Rilo, who is this ancient fairy. And the mechanics of fairies in this universe are fascinating. They aren't like little glowing bugs. Rilo is a tall, humanoid figure with emerald hair, and her magic is entirely nature-based, drawing on the mycelial networks of the earth. She brings this quiet, ancient wisdom to the group.
She's the sage of the party.
Right. Then we have Fairu, a ranger who is so disciplined he speaks maybe 3 words a day, relying on hyperlethal precision rather than brute force. We get Morvek, who is introduced as a Blade Runner alpha.
And we should clarify what that is.
Yeah, for you listening, a Blade Runner in this universe isn't a sci-fi detective. It refers to the genetically modified vanguard of the Requiem of Rose's rebellion. They have physical augmentations that allow them to process combat geometry at superhuman speeds. But Morvek is just dripping in survivor's guilt.
So much guilt.
And finally, we have Kate, who is literally a mist. Not a person who controls mist, but a sentient, localized weather phenomenon that has achieved consciousness. It is such a wonderfully weird, diverse crew. But why are they assembling? What exactly are they fighting against?
They are mobilizing against the Maves. And I have to say, looking analytically at the world building here, the Maves are one of the most genuinely infuriating antagonists in modern fantasy because of the socioeconomic implications of their rule.
Oh, absolutely.
The Maves are dark, tyrannical entities that originated from a fallen star, an extraplanetary threat. They are the ones who orchestrated the genocide of the Ferukes during the Shadow Wars because a fully realized Feruke is the only energetic force capable of neutralizing their starlight-based biology. But what is truly fascinating and deeply disturbing is how they manage their subjugation of Talak. They don't just rely on indiscriminate slaughter. They operate a systematic extraction of human capital. They kidnap the firstborn sons of every family to use as slave labor in their obsidian mines.
Which is just, it is so unbelievably dark. It's a systemic culling.
It is macroeconomic devastation.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, evil world building. I mean, think about what stealing an entire generation of firstborn sons does to a developing agrarian society. You are completely hollowing out the future workforce. You are destroying familial inheritance lines, which destabilizes property ownership and wealth accumulation. You are fundamentally breaking the psychological spirit of the working class. A populace that is constantly grieving the theft of their children does not have the emotional or economic surplus required to mount a rebellion.
Right, they're just exhausted.
Exactly. The Maves are maintaining their empire through the parasitic extraction of their subjects' future. It's just such an incredibly sharp commentary on imperialistic labor exploitation.
Okay, I just have to say something.
What?
When you get all fired up about this stuff,
Yeah.
when you start breaking down the fictional macroeconomics of a fantasy world with that level of intensity, you sound so incredibly smart.
Oh,
No,
right.
seriously, it's actually really impressive.
Yeah.
I could listen to you rant about agrarian labor exploitation all night.
Huh. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I get really passionate when authors take the time to figure out the logistical how of an evil empire. It's not just they are evil because they wear black. It's they are evil because they have mathematically dismantled the working class. It's fascinating. But wait, what was I saying? Where were we in the outline?
We were moving to Balin, the Terra warrior.
Right. Yes, Balin.
Which is perfect, because this dives right into the deep emotional mechanics of the universe. Balin introduces us to the concept of intertwining.
Okay, so Balin is a Terra. Terras are a species of highly empathetic, telepathic warriors, and their culture is entirely built around this biological and spiritual process called intertwining. It is not just mind reading, it is the permanent fusing of two consciousnesses. You share every memory, every physiological sensation, every trauma, and every joy. You become a singular emotional entity operating in two bodies.
But Balin's backstory is just devastating. She carries this profound, isolating trauma. She fell deeply in love with a scrimp.
And scrimps are the lowest caste.
Right, scrimps, for context, are essentially the lowest caste in this world. They're a marginalized scavenger race. But this specific scrimp loved Balin. The tragedy is he didn't want to intertwine with her. Not because he didn't love her, but because he believed in individual sovereignty.
Yeah.
He just wanted to know her as a separate, autonomous person. He wanted to earn her love every day rather than just magically sinking their brains. And then, because of the brutal prejudices of their world, he was murdered, brutally killed, and tossed aside like trash.
The irony is so painful. The one person who validated her individual existence, who rejected the biological mandate of her species to truly see her, is ripped away. It leaves her carrying this immense hollow grief. She is surrounded by a team, but she is biologically and emotionally stranded.
God, it just makes me so emotional. Let me take a sip of this. She's just so lonely, like deeply, profoundly lonely, being feared by everyone because you're a warrior, and the one guy who looked at you and said, "I just want you exactly as you are," gets murdered. It's tragic.
It really is.
I was thinking about the intertwining thing. If I had to intertwine with anyone in the world, I think I'd pick you.
Wait, really? You're saying that right now on the recording?
I would. I totally would. I wouldn't even care if you saw all my embarrassing memories or my weird intrusive thoughts or that time I cried in a parking lot over a commercial. I think intertwining is beautiful. Yeah. It's the ultimate form of trust. You never have to explain yourself to the other person. They just know.
Wow. I mean, from an analytical standpoint, the mechanics of it are terrifyingly invasive. The destruction of the ego, the loss of the private self. But when you frame it like that, as the ultimate unconditional acceptance of another person's flaws, that's a really profound display of vulnerability. You're a really beautiful person. You know that. I'd intertwine with you, too.
Really? Yeah.
Pouring another massive drink to that.
Cheers to intertwining. I love doing this show with you. Okay, but we have to keep going. We have to unpack section 3 because things get so incredibly messy. The sins of the father. Kate, the sentient mist, possesses the ability to access ambient historical memory, and she shows the party a horrifying vision of the past.
This is where the narrative shifts from a standard quest into a complex political tragedy. Kate projects this historical record of the Shadow Wars, and in this vision, they see Ultab's father, Merrily. Ultav has grown up believing his father was a noble casualty of the war.
A hero.
Right, a hero. But the vision reveals the truth. Merrily wasn't a hero, he was a traitor. He transformed into his wyvern state and actively led an army to slaughter the Ferukes. He did it at the behest of the Maves, likely to secure the survival of his own species at the cost of Mia's.
The visual execution of this battle is just insane. Varro describes Ferox wielding these massive swords constructed entirely of raw, humming, violet energy, clashing against giant armored dragons in the burning sky. And the climax of the vision is Merrily cornering what everyone believed to be the very last Feruke.
It's so cinematic.
Merrily shifts back into his human form, looks the Feruke in the eyes, and runs him completely through the chest with a broadsword.
And you have to remember the context of who is watching this projection. Mia is watching this. She is watching the father of the man who saved her, the man she's traveling with, the man who calls her Blue Tang, commit the systemic genocide of her entire ancestral line.
It's massive.
The inherited guilt that slams into Ultav in this moment is staggering. He had absolutely no idea. His entire identity, his pride in his lineage is instantly inverted into shame. But Vero doesn't stop there. He immediately compounds this family trauma with the revelation about Tyre.
Oh my God, Tyre. The sweet, gentle caretaker back in the Undercity who has been looking after the refugees.
All right, so Ultav has this tragic backstory where he believes his mother died of a wasting disease when he was just a child. It's a foundational part of his guarded personality. But then it is revealed that no biological disease on Talak can actually kill a wyvern.
Because of the cellular regeneration.
Exactly. Their cellular regeneration is too aggressive. His mother didn't die. She transformed her physical appearance permanently to hide from the Maves, faked her own death, and has been watching over him in secret his entire life. Tyre is his mother.
Which is just so profoundly messed up. Like, I understand the author's writing about sacrifice, but why do parents lie to us, honestly? Why do parents think lying to protect us is a good idea? It just messes us up worse.
Well, it creates a false reality.
Exactly. You grow up thinking one thing, your entire psychological reality and coping mechanisms are based on this foundational truth that your mother is dead, and then you find out they lied for your own good. It doesn't protect anyone. It just creates this massive, insurmountable complex of abandonment and betrayal.
I know, it's really...
I remember when I was a kid, my dad lied to me about his business going bankrupt. He just kept buying us stuff and pretending everything was fine. And then one day the bank just took the house. And it completely ruined my ability to trust authority figures. You can't just rewrite reality for someone you love and expect them to be okay with it.
God, I am so sorry you went through that. But you are completely right. You are absolutely right. It's so damaging. Parents think they are shielding you from the pain of the truth. But the deception itself is a much deeper, more insidious wound than the truth ever could be. The truth is clean. Deception rots. I hear you. I really do. You didn't deserve that. It's okay. Have a sip of your drink.
Thanks. I'm sorry. I don't know why I got so worked up. It's just frustrating. But it directly, perfectly mirrors Mia's dark truth. Because right after this, Mia touches this ancient pendant she found, and she is pulled into her own vision. She sees her mother, Navara, and she finally understands the mechanics of her amnesia.
Right, the memory block.
It wasn't a head injury. It wasn't just shock. Her mother intentionally laid a complex blood curse on her to forcibly lock her memories away behind a neurological wall.
And the specific parameters of that curse are what make it so devastating. Navara designed the memory lock so that it would only break and the memories would only return when Mia's dormant Feruke power finally exploded and breached a certain threshold of raw energy. Which brings us to the absolute most horrifying realization of this entire deep dive. The destroyed town from page 1. The crater. The charred stuffed bunny. The silhouette of the child burned permanently into the dirt. Mia didn't wake up in the aftermath of a disaster. She was the disaster.
It is the ultimate gut punch. How does a protagonist, how does a hero come back from that? You spend your entire newly amnesiac life running from monsters, trying good, trying to save people, only to realize that you are the walking weapon of mass destruction that caused the apocalypse you woke up in. You aren't just radioactive, you are the nuclear bomb that dropped.
It completely shatters the conventional hero's journey. She isn't burdened with a grand destiny. She is burdened with the catastrophic sins of her own uncontrolled biology. She killed that child. It's heavy. Wait, hold on, let me pour another one. This bottle is getting dangerously low, but we need it for this next part. The Cavern of Reflection.
Okay, wait. Hang on. Let's get back on track. The deep dive. Focus. I need to focus. I am resetting the show. We are professionals analyzing a complex literary text. We are not just crying into our microphones.
Right. We are professionals. Analytical professionals. Proceed.
2 minutes of absolute academic focus starting right now. The party travels to the Cavern of Reflection.
Yes. And when they arrive, High Magi Saren appears again. But it is revealed that Saren has never actually been real. Saren is a long-term, sustained illusion cast by an entity known as the Grand Supreme, Moksha.
Moksha, right. The puppet master.
And Mekshar forces them into this brutal combat trial that they have to fight these Fasher golems. Now, biologically, or mechanically rather, Fasher golems are elemental constructs that can rapidly phase shift their physical density. There's a fire golem and a poison golem. And the combat mechanics dictate that if these two golems exhale their elements at the exact same time, The chemical mixture causes a thermobaric explosion that will vaporize the cavern. Morvek, using his Blade Runner tactical processing, figures out a strategy. He coordinates Balin to intertwine to fuse her energy with Mia, temporarily boosting Mia's raw Feruke output so she can neutralize the golems.
It's a fantastic high-octane tactical set piece.
It is. But, honestly, what completely blows my mind, what I have been thinking about for days, is Max Shaw.
What about him?
Think about what Max Shaw is actually doing. He isn't just trying to kill them, he's testing them. He is playing 4D metaphysical chess, man. He puts them through this brutal reflection to see if they are internally, fundamentally enough. At one point, he literally pauses the combat, looks at Fyru, and asks, "Are you enough?"
That is pretty crazy.
That's so profound, it transcends the text. Are we enough? Think about it. In our lives, with all our baggage and our trauma, are any of us enough for the massive, crushing trials we face every single day?
Wow. That really hits me deep. Are we enough? I mean, I really try so hard to be enough for the people in my life.
Yeah.
I worry all the time that I'm falling short.
You are enough. Let me tell you right now, you are more than enough. You are incredibly smart. You are empathetic. You're incredible. You are enough for me.
Thank you.
But Macha is looking at this RPG party, this group of broken, traumatized people, and he's demanding that they prove their existential worth to the universe. It's brilliant, layered writing. Vero is a genius.
He is a genius. And speaking of proving your worth, we absolutely have to talk about the pub scene, because Mia proves exactly how much of a badass she is. They go to this underground pub to secure an alliance with Mel. Mel is the alpha Blade Runner of their Requiem of Rose's rebellion.
Right, the warlord guy.
He's essentially a warlord.
Yeah.
And he is just this arrogant, condescending jerk. He looks at Mia, who is literally a god-tier energy battery destined to save their world, and he dismisses her. He calls her a farmer girl.
A farmer girl. The sheer patriarchal disrespect of this guy.
The absolute disrespect. It makes my blood boil. But then, oh my God, I freaking love this scene so much. Ultav doesn't argue with Mel. He just steps back, looks at Mia, and whispers, "Show them."
Oh, it's so good.
And Mia doesn't say a single word. She just unleashes everything. She drops the mental dam on her power, and these massive, blindingly bright Feruke wings made of pure crackling blue and violet energy explode from her back. The ambient pressure in the room shatters all the glass.
It just completely wrecks the place.
She radiates so much raw, terrifying power that Mel, this biologically enhanced warlord, instantly drops to his knees and submits. She basically told him to sit the fuck down without even opening her mouth. I love her. She is the coolest protagonist ever written.
It is the ultimate narrative flex. It is the visual, physical representation of her finally reclaiming her agency. She isn't hiding from her power anymore. She isn't terrified of her amnesia. She is weaponizing her biology against the arrogant patriarchal structures of this rebellion. Yeah. It is a masterclass in shifting the interpersonal power dynamic. Mel thought he held the cards because of his military rank, and Mia just reminded him that she is the atomic bomb.
Best scene in the entire book. Hands down, period. Wow. I need a sip of this. My drink is almost gone. Okay, but then we get to section 5. The war.
The war, yeah. The tone it plummets here. All the triumph of the pub scene evaporates. The final battle begins. The ROR forces, the rebellion, clash with the VACS. And for those listening, the VAC stands for the Vanguard of the Absolute Crown, the heavily armored loyalist human army that serves the Maves.
The bloodbath.
The sky is literally burning red from the wyvern fire, and Kuri, the supreme Mave leader, steps out of the flames. Vero describes her with these long, jagged daggers strapped directly to her legs. The imagery is pure apocalypse. It is hell on earth.
And the stakes are astronomically high, because right before the Vanguard charges, Mia pulls Ultav aside, and she reveals that she is pregnant. She is carrying Ultav's child, the Last Feruke, and the heir of the wyverns.
It changes the entire mathematical equation of the battle. It is no longer just a suicide mission to survive the Maves. It's about securing a biological and political future for this unborn child. It represents the literal merging of the crest of Talak.
Right.
But Kuri isn't just fighting. She is trying to perform a ritual to awaken Val. Val is the dormant, highly radioactive core of the fallen star that birthed the Maves. If Val wakes up, the planet cracks in half. And Ultav knows that Mia cannot output enough energy to stop Kuri while protecting the child. So Ultav...
Don't. Please don't. I'm literally going to cry again. I can feel it.
Ultav sacrifices himself. He doesn't hesitate. He throws his massive body directly into Kuri's path. He takes the brunt of her dark magic to break her ritual concentration, and he is mortally wounded in the process. His internal organs are basically liquefied by star magic.
It is so fundamentally unfair. After everything they went through, he carried his father's genocidal sins, he carried the trauma of his mother lying to him, he guided Mia through her amnesia, they finally found each other in this broken world, and he doesn't even get to see his child born.
I know.
His final words, I wrote them down because they destroyed me. He is bleeding out on the ash. He looks up at her and he says, they'll have your fire. I'll be watching in every dawn, every storm. Raise them strong.
It's devastating. You realize when you strip away all the incredible world building, the wyverns, the politics, the magic systems, love is the only thing that actually matters in the universe. Do you realize that?
Yeah.
It's just about who you love and what you are willing to give up to make sure they survive. That's the entire human experience right there.
I know. Look, listen to me right now. If a Maeve attacked us right now, if Kuri busted through that door, I would throw myself in front of a dagger for you. Yeah. I swear to God I would. I would take a dagger to the chest for you.
I know you would. You're the most loyal, beautiful, best person I know. You have such a good heart. Pour me another one, please.
My hands are actually shaking. It's just so incredibly sad. In the funeral pyre scene, Vero just twists the knife. Riley and Tyree give these beautiful, soaring eulogies as his body burns. Riley says that by dying to save the last Feruke, Ultav finally atoned for the sins of his ancestors. He balanced the cosmic scales. But Mia's just standing there, touching his cold hand before the fire takes him, realizing that their child is never, ever going to know how amazing, how arrogant, how brave their father was. It breaks my heart into a million pieces.
It is the brutal, unavoidable cost of war. Vero respects you too much as a reader to give you a clean, sanitized, happy ending. The victory is achieved, but the soil is soaked in blood and ash. Which brings us, finally, to the end of the book, the aftermath.
Yeah, the aftermath. The battle is over. The city of Talak is completely in ruins. Smoke is still rising from the rubble. But the people, the surviving humans, the Taros, the Scrimps, the Wyverns, they all gather at the palace steps and they all look up at Mia.
And she has a choice to make. She doesn't take the crown because she has some ego-driven desire for political dominance. She takes it for Ultav. She takes it to build a safe world for their unborn child. She looks out at this decimated crowd and she realizes that she is these people now. Her grief is their grief. Her ruin is their ruin. And she says, yes, I do this for Ultav and our unborn child. And Riley, the ancient fairy who remembers the old world, officially announces her as the Queen of Talak. It brings the entire dedication from page one completely full circle. Even in ruin, something beautiful can still rise.
It is so beautiful. What an unbelievable journey. What an exhausting emotional deep dive. I am completely drained. My emotions are just, they are tapped out. I feel like I've been crying for an hour.
Wait, hold on. My brain is swimming right now. The room is definitely spinning a little bit, but I just remembered something. Something from way earlier in the book, a detail we glossed over.
What is it? Do we miss a chapter?
The Cavern of Reflection. When Moksha was doing his whole 4D chess philosophical "are you enough" routine, he smirked. Do you remember exactly what he said right before the golems attacked? He looked at Mia, laughed, and asked her who the other Feruke was.
Oh my God. Oh my God, my drink. Oh shit, I just knocked over my glass. Wait, who the hell is the other one? Are you kidding me? Saren told her she was the last one. Mia isn't the last one.
Exactly. Saren either lied to her or Saren didn't know because he was just an illusion programmed by Moksha. There's another Feruke out there in the world. The entire foundational premise of the book, the literal title of the novel, The Last Feruke, it is a massive, deliberate misdirection by the author.
Are you serious? We gotta read the next book immediately. You have to figure this out. I cannot handle this level of a cliffhanger right now. I am too emotionally compromised for this. Where is the other Feruke?
The lore goes so much deeper than we even realize. Vero played us. He played us like a fiddle.
He absolutely played us. God, I love this book. I love doing this. Look, this has been Off the Record, and honestly, I think we need to go to sleep or drink some water. Probably both. Thank you for joining us in the tavern tonight, listeners. We are a total absolute mess right now, but we love you guys. We love doing this for you, and yeah. I love you so much, you brilliant, amazing person.
I love you too. Seriously. You're the best. What an absolutely incredible, exhausting story.
Good night, everybody. Cheers.
Oh.
Watch out for wyverns.